Greetings to all my air gun family. I hope this is your first glance at the Blitz with a new painted stock on it. I think it looks pretty sweet. Although it's hard to keep the paint on it, it scratches off pretty easily, so I have to be very careful. I think it looks nice though. But anyway, this is after I've done reassembled this thing in this video. I just wanted to tell you that do not disassemble your rifle without knowledge and experience of what you're doing. I don't recommend you do this. I'm not responsible if you destroy your rifle, tear it up, break it, get injured in the process, or after you've completed it and finished it. I'm not responsible for any of that. So if you do this, you do it on your own recognizance. So the video camera that I was using to film this started putting the breech seal all back in it. The camera acted weird. It said something. It went dead. I can't find the footage. So what footage that is on here that you're going to see is from this camera here. And I hope you get the most you can out of it, because honestly, I don't want to tear this thing back down unless I have to go back through all of that. So here you go. Hope you get what you get out of it, and see y'all at the end. Okay, we lost power on the other camera. Hopefully this one will suffice. And we were trying to get the trigger assembly back in, and this little safety thing, make sure you have it off safe, and try and line the pins back up is not as fun as it seems. As you can see, trying to get this trigger assembly back together is no fun. So lining the holes back up and messing with the safety, I finally got the pin to go back through the safety mechanism hole. And there went that piece I was telling you about that came out of there. Let's hope that the ball bearing is still in there. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, there is not a steel little bearing or BB underneath this little pin right here that fell out on me. So we can continue. Now, as I said before, this little pin that holds this in here, the little taper end goes up. Just add a slight bit of grease. That's a little too much grease there. Slight bit of grease to it. Goes just like so. You'll have to push this pin down because that pin, I don't know if you can see that very well. There, maybe you're a little better. That pin works like that right there. So what I want to do now is I want to put this door on here just because I had to take the actuator and all back out so I could turn it over to try and take that out to see if I lost the BB that was actually this thing didn't have. So you have to make sure that hole lines up with that pin, just like so. And we just want to put these back in here to hold this on here so it doesn't, all this doesn't fall out of here. Do not over tighten these. We're just going to get them down to where it holds the door right now. You won't have to do this step. I may remove this from the video because we already did this step a while ago. Greasy tools, greasy fingers. Again with that forward. This little block goes in here. Make sure your hole where your rod screws in is facing the front. Probably catching on my hammer. That's what was catching the hammer. Okay. let's put this plate on here for now. Again, just to hold everything in place. For right now, just put those two in there. And we're going to put our barrel in. So I want to use a little bit of silicone grease. Just slight bit, not a lot. Now those two marks are where your Allen screws go. So they'll be up. We should be able to see down in there and see your marks. And that is them. Now before I was having trouble getting the mag in, so we're going to put this mag in here to make sure it's not going to be too tight, like it seems to be right at the moment. Yeah, how hard it is for me to get that in there. So we're going to ease this barrel back a little. It should be just like that. If you have a good flashlight, that looks perfect. So now we put these set screws back in top of here. The 2.5. Just get it to where it hits the barrel and stops moving. Don't put pressure yet. This one. Hit the barrel, put a little bit of pressure on it. Come back to your back one. Put a little more pressure on it. Back to your front one. Do not over tighten these. Do not tighten them real super tight or anything, because you do not want to leave indentions inside of your barrel. So you just want to kind of snug them up there. Now if that's back on, we can take our mag out. Make sure our mag goes in and out pretty easy. Alright, be good to go there. Want to go ahead and put my charging handle back on. I believe it was a 5. correct. Now, and when we insert this rod, you may have to hold this with pliers to get this off, and it's already loose, because you're going to have to take this off to get it lined back up with the barrel. Because if you try to thread this rod back in here with this on here, it's going to be off center, so you might as well go ahead and take it off now. Then you just thread it back through this hole. We're going to implement a little grease on it here. It should screw right into that block that was in there. Let's take this back off, make sure we're doing good. You see the threads when you get it tight. Now we can come back over here. Try to put this back on. The cup looking part goes towards the front. This back in here, it has a small cup, goes towards the barrel. Trying to line these up is a little tricky. There you have it. So I forgot my door was off and my gear fell out. You want this all the way back when your bolt is all the way forward. Let's put all this back together so we don't do that again. Okay. I want to put my shroud back on, which looks like they had some kind of sealant around there, so I just want to put a little sealant myself. Not very much. That should go a long way. Hopefully. This should go on all around there. Oh, I do want to use a little silicone grease right around this O-ring right here. I do want this sealed pretty good right here. This is what blows back your action. Just hand tape it. Make sure you don't drop your rifle all over the place. We'll put our spring and cap back in here with a little bit of more silicone grease. This one don't have to have quite as much. Okay, if you drop it. Now it also looks like they had sealant on this as well. I'm not going to worry about that one too much. And when you go doing this, make sure you keep pressure on this and do not cross the thread. Do not cross thread these threads, because it's going to have pressure on it pushing back against you. So hand tight's fine. I'm on a bit of rag because I have grease all over this gun. Okay, now we are going to put the hammer spring, the end butt. We're going to put the bushing in first. And if you remember, I said this little it has like a divot in it, an indentation that goes towards the spring. The other side goes towards the hammer. So it's going to go like this. Wife is calling me. Give me a minute. We'll get back to the action here. Actually going to put our spring in here. Now, I have to get this hammer pushed back up. So, excuse my big head in the way. Pushing the hammer and then pulling the trigger will get it shoved up. I used a number 6 so it wouldn't mess anything up in there. Now, there is a little screw right here. You have to take this little Allen set screw, back it out to get this plate out, and you see the little indentation where that set screw sets. So you're kind of going to want that back in the same area, which I have a little scratch on mine right here. It indicates where it is. So I know where mine is at. If you don't have a pair of snap ring pliers, a pair of very fine needle nose will work fine to get this back in here. I have to see where my marks are lining up at. Alright, you want it flush with the back. And I think that is a 2.5 also. It is what it is. Not too tight, just like everything else. You don't want to over tighten it. These Allen wrenches, as you can see, they're not 50s. I don't know what sizes they use over in Turkey where they made this rifle. But I know the standards don't fit it very well either. They have some kind of special sizes over there or something. We have to make sure these are tight. It'll be working pretty good. I see no extra parts for the bottle cover and the stock left. We're almost done with this little project. Before we put the stock back on, you must close this valve screw right behind the gauge, or you will not be able to air the rifle. Now you can put the stock on. Now you guys are going to see something here I wasn't ready for you to see yet, but I want to go ahead and put this stock on here for you. We're going to go ahead and put the bottle cover / barrel band back on here. Make sure you use the right size tools. Okay. Now, I'm ready to show you guys something that I wasn't ready to show you yet, but since y'all you're all awesome subs, I'm gonna go ahead and let you see this. I hope you guys like that stop. Hope you guys like how she looks now. I think it looks pretty neat myself. Like a Tennessee orange. And we are ready to take it over the chronograph. Ready to take it over the chronograph. Test, see if the breech seal helped out my feet per second that I lost. If not, then the only thing else I can think of is the hammer spring has fatigued, and I will have to try to get in touch with one of the hardest air gun companies in the world to get a hold of hot sign. So, hope you guys enjoy this video, and like, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, and even strangers you don't know. And until next time, Air Power is out.